Well, welcome, fellow YouTubers. Today we'll be doing we're not going to be doing a full timing chain timing. What we're going to do is I've come up with a new way to hold the camshaft in place while doing a timing chain. The traditional way is taking a pair of vice grips, locking them on the camshaft to lock the cam in place, but we find that it scars the cam. So what I'm going to do today is show you an invention that I've made, some plastic hold downs, all right, looking like so. So we're not going to go through the whole timing issue. So what I did here, taking my 32 mil socket here, timing it, well, you can see it on other movies, other YouTubes, bringing that keyway up to the 12 o'clock position and timing it. So now what I'm going to do is show you what I've come up with. Going to go in here, going to take off the two main bearing caps on the camshaft here. So we'll take those off like so. Breaking the bolts and then removing. Being careful not to drop any of the bolts down the head, otherwise you're going to have a real problem trying to get those out. Just like so. Got one and two. Like that. Sometimes the bearing cap's going to be a little tougher to get off. You may have to tap it with a hammer. Oh, and just a little wiggling here. Try and get that off. Pull off the bearing cap like so. And we take one of the plastic hold downs like this. Placing it where the cam bearing was. Like that. And now we're just going to tighten those up. Not going to put a lot of force onto them. I always like to hang down put my hand as tight to the ratchet mechanism, that way I can't get a lot of torque on it. Remember, these are only made of plastic. Okay, going back and forth with the torque sequence there. We're just tightening them up. Alright, like that. Again, not putting a lot of force. Not a lot of force is required. So there's one. There's one in position. Now we'll just come over to the other side here. Doing the same procedure. Now we'll get into position with the camera. I have to get a little height here. This particular vehicle is a Ford F-150 2009 with the 5.4 engine. Oh, still the camera's not quite in position yet. Just get you to move. And then all we're doing is coming over and repeating the process. Broke the bolts off the main bearing. I keep calling it a main bearing. It's not a main bearing, it's a cam bearing. Again, watching not to drop any of the bolts. All right. Something that wasn't mentioned earlier, which should have been, is make sure that before you go to put these plastic pieces on, make sure that you break the torque on the cam phasers. If you try to do it later on, you will get some cam movement there. So I've broke the torque on the cam phasers with the chains in position, and then the timing was done. All right, so now we're just tightening up the final block here. Like so. Okay, those are in position. So now it's ready to remove the cam phasers. What I'm going to do here is on each one, I will make a mark to show that there's going to be, to check for any kind of movement. I've made a mark here. And we'll come over now with the camera again onto the other side. Setting up. And we'll do the same on this block. Make a mark like so. And you can see on the camshaft. All right, so you can watch that as I take the phaser off. Uh, 15 socket on the phaser. So again, I'm not going to do a complete timing. There's a lot of good videos out there on YouTube. All right, let me take this. And as we're watching that Mark II, that's on that block, so I'm removing the cam phaser. These are disposable. This particular truck is having an issue with a rough idle. The guides look good. The chain looks good, so I'm suspicious with the cam phasers. We're this deep into the engine. With this particular engine, I'm going to do an oil pump change. So the only thing that this video is going to be used for is these new hold down devices without the use of vice grips. All right, so as you watch the block and the mark on the block over here, we'll take off now. Moving that cam phaser, remove it, and you can see no movement on the cam now because it's been held down with the new plastic cam bearing essentially. So it's just pinching that off. A nice safe way to do things now. You can see now the chain can be, put the old cam phaser here, and now I'm free to work about this particular engine. Like I said, I'll carry on now, taking the guides, the chains off, get to the oil pump, do the oil pump, come back, new phasers. Once I get it all in position and that and the proper marks, I will tighten everything and I'll release those plastic bearings and we're good to go. And that's a YouTube video on the new cam hold down bearing. Thank you.